A spear, a state house gate, a GSU officer dead in broad daylight, and a man calmly claiming he was sent by Satan. This isn't fiction. It happened at one of the most secure places in Kenya, just meters from where Kenya's President William Ruto was preparing to leave for Konza City. What really happened outside the State House Gate D on that Monday morning, and what does it reveal about Kenya's growing cracks in security, society, and sanity? According to eyewitnesses, the suspect, 56-year-old Kinyuka Kinyumi, appeared like any other street dweller near the State House perimeter, carrying a sack, blending in with the morning Nairobi bustle. No one paid him much attention. But hidden inside that sack wasn't scrap or food, it was a spear. He quietly positioned himself behind a flower bed at Gate D, one of the public access points often used by visitors undergoing security clearance. At around 11 a.m., while GSU officers were inspecting a car entering the compound, Kinyumi emerged, unsheathed the spear, and lunged forward. His target, Constable Ramadan Matanka, barely had time to react. The spear struck him squarely in the chest. He collapsed instantly as his colleagues rushed in, subdued the assailant, and recovered the weapon. Matanka was rushed to Kenyatta National Hospital, but it was too late. He was pronounced dead on arrival. Cause of death: massive chest bleeding from a single spear wound. What's haunting about this isn't just the violence, it's how it happened in the shadow of State House, under layers of security and surveillance. When interrogated, Kinyumi gave an answer that left even hardened detectives shaken. He claimed he was acting under orders from Satan, that he woke up that morning, picked up his spear, and walked to State House to fulfill the mission. Police now suspect mental illness or religious delusion, but they are not ruling out deeper motives. Investigators are combing through his background, trying to establish whether he has a criminal record, past psychiatric treatment, or any affiliations that could explain his behavior. One officer told the press, quote, "He kept repeating that Satan had sent him. He didn't resist arrest. It was as if he believed he had already completed his purpose," unquote. And that's where this story takes an unsettling turn, because it raises uncomfortable questions about security, societal stress, and psychological vulnerability. The National Police Service issued its official statement, and it subtly contradicted the eyewitnesses' accounts. According to the National Police Service, the attacker was armed not with a spear, but with a bow and arrows. They said, quote, "rapidly approached officers stationed near Gate D, ignored commands to surrender, and fired an arrow that struck Constable Matanka in the ribs. The police lauded their quick response, capturing the attacker before he could harm anyone else. But the difference in details, spear or bow or arrow, has fueled speculation. Was it a communication mix-up, or is something being held back from the public narrative? The symbolism of this attack cannot be ignored. A man walking up to State House, the nerve center of national security, armed with a primitive weapon and managing to kill a GSU officer, is more than just tragedy. It is an indictment of the fragile perimeter between order and chaos in modern Kenya. Experts are now questioning how such an incident could occur with a sterile zone, an area monitored by CCTV, armed patrols, and intelligence units. If a mentally unstable man could infiltrate that far, what about organized actors with political or extremist motives? Security insiders say the area has now been sealed off and surveillance tightened, but behind the scenes, the mood is tense, because the truth is, if the State House gate isn't impenetrable, nowhere truly is. Constable Ramadan Matanka, part of the G company of the GSU, leaves behind a grieving family and colleagues who describe him as disciplined and quiet. His death underscores the real dangers faced by officers even in supposedly safe environments. The DCI has opened a murder investigation, and the suspect is expected to undergo a mental health evaluation before arraignment. For many Kenyans, however, the unease runs deeper, not just about one attacker, but about what kind of desperation or madness drives someone to take on the state itself. In a country where political tensions, unemployment, and spiritual fear often intersect, stories like this become mirrors, reflecting something unsettling about our collective state of mind. A man claiming to act for Satan at the gates of power is not just a headline, it is a symptom. Whether this was a lone act of delusion or a deeper crack in Kenya's security matrix, one truth remains. Even at the seat of power, danger no longer knocks. Sometimes it walks right through the gate. Newsroom, Maisha TV, Bushabi Jr.